Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to round 3 of the Tier 3 MRC Championship. We are here live from Portimao. We have already had the Tier 1 and Tier 2 races on Monday night, as usual. Very exciting races, very interesting, and now we are looking forward to seeing what the Tier 3 guys can do in response. Joining me tonight, it's the second half of the T-side twosome. It is my fellow Tier 2 racer. It is Morgan Stubbs. Good evening.
Good evening, Mark. How are we?
Oh, fantastic, buddy. Fantastic. Looking forward to this one. It promises to be interesting. At least we've got a dry qualifying.
Yeah, well, Portugal proved really interesting for Tiers 1 and 2, so hopefully Tier 3 can have a good race here as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've made a few notes for all the drivers. There are a few heavy braking zones, and of course, turn 1, turn 2, and 3 is very, very tight, very quick as well. So we'll give all the drivers are aware that the stewards will not be taking a light look at any incidences this evening. But they're all professional. They all know what they're doing. So looking forward to a really strong race.
Yeah, can't wait. We've got the first few people coming out the pits now. We've got 4 people on outlaps: Joey Verhel, Boothie, Tom Brown, and Connor H.
Yeah, a couple of substitute drivers in tonight, with a few people missing, so we will come to them shortly. Alex Edrick, he's one of our main reserve drivers, is in tonight, BGR as well. And brand new as well to the championship. We're going to say a big warm welcome to Orange Jaffa Cake, normally known as Daniel. And he's now taken the C2, partnering Tom Brown in the Alpine, so it's nice to have him aboard in MRC. And hopefully, and on his outlap, clip that curb, and it really does send you over the inside, so luckily that was on an outlap for him. He'll continue on his way, but that curb really can bite. You think it's flat, but it's not.
Yeah, there's a few points around this track which will send you spinning if you're not being careful around it, especially around the hairpins and stuff, so it's definitely really easy to get caught out here.
Yeah, it is. We've seen it through all our practice sessions, and of course through Tier 1 and Tier 2 race, lots of action taking place, and a few safety cars as well to boot. We are hearing through that the possibility of a wet race, so all these drivers now who are out, some on the soft, some on the medium tyres, they're going to be looking at that and saying, well, if it's going to arrive halfway through, do you go on the mediums, or where do you start? Why would you plan your race through that?
Well, it goes with the setup as well, is always the problem. Obviously, it's going to be like a wet start to the race. How do you set up for when it gets dry, or the same way around the other way?
Yeah, very much so, you're right. Yeah, it's just that compromise, isn't it, of where you would go. Do you compromise your qualifying? Do you compromise the race?
First, I'd probably go for a compromise qualifying and do the setup for the race, but everyone's got their own preferences.
Yeah, they do. You're right. Yeah, some people go for track position, and then some will just keep pushing and pushing and go for that race setup.
I think the overtaking's pretty fair here, so I don't think track position's quite as important. I'd definitely go for the race.
Yeah, I would incline to agree, as we've started to see first laps on the board. Connor briefly went fast as Tom Brown on 19.2. They're on the soft tyres. We're on board with Nightcat, and again, one of our reserve drivers, so nice to have them aboard this evening in the Alfa Romeo. And he's coming through the last corner, turn 15. The run up to the line. Goes quickest on a 1:18.8 on the medium tyres as well. Really good opening lap for Nightcast, as they say, the reserve driver. That's a really nice opener. Be happy with that one.
A few drivers on a set of mediums as well. And Emiliano up there on a 1:19.1.
Yeah, as well on the medium tyres as Tomo on his next lap does a 1:18.3. So lap times are going to start tumbling. I think the track evolution was quite major around here, if I remember rightly.
Well, we had fun in Tier 2 because we had the wet qualifying, which was always fun.
Yeah, that definitely spiced things up quite a bit. Really did. As now Alex has gone on a 1:18.0 on those medium tyres. He's a T2 reserve driver, so he has to use the medium tyres only. He cannot use the soft tyres, whereas everybody else can. We're on board with BGR on his outlap. I mentioned reserve driver taking the seat of that Mercedes. He's gone straight out on the softs as well. Yeah, busy track at the moment, as we can see in the bottom right corner of the screen. BGR does have a little bit of room to start his lap. He goes very deep in there, but again, out lap, so it's all okay. As I think there's been a spinner at the hairpin.
Oh, that hairpin's tons of fun.
Very difficult as BGR really getting out of the way. Had to really dive off track there as a faster car coming through to complete their lap, but now he's going to gear up, get the power down, goes through turn 15, aptly named Galp, which I think is what most of the drivers do each lap on there. We're going to ride on board with BGR on this opening lap. Brake just shy of the 50 metre board, missed the apex slightly, has gone wide. He may get away with that if you do back off, but heavy into turn 3. Upshift very early to keep the wheel spin down through turn 4. He's got to be patient on the throttle. A lot of understeer through there. And now we're running down this first DRS zone. Heavy braking downhill. You have to brake a little bit earlier than you think with that downhill. Runs very wide. A little bit of understeer. Again, could have got away with it. Up through turn 6 flat out. Not really a corner. Turn 7. Flick down to 6. Keep off that inside curb. And again in turn 8. Samson keeping that car nice in straight line, looks very planted at the rear, no wheel spin, flat out through turn 9 and turn 10. This is where very tricky to find your brake point there, as we've just found out. Runs very deep into that through turn 12, flat out into turn 13. Very easy to lose the rear again on exit, and again a long turn 14, trying to pick up, get the car straight as you can at the exit, which he does. And then through that infamous turn 15 down the bank. Very easy to lose the rear as well through there. We saw a lot of cars sliding. And he does a 1:20.8 in his opening lap.
Definitely not the worst lap. Well, he's definitely got tons of room for improvement with all the... just got to find his braking points.
Yeah, he's now got his eye in. And he'll be, I'm sure, getting rid of those tyres. Swapping the first set of new boots and going again.
Yeah, mentioning braking points. Even all like the YouTubers and stuff that do track guides are really struggling for how to best advise people around this track, because there's just nowhere around the track to pick as a point.
It is very difficult. There's a lot of blind apexes, blind corners, blind braking zones, and you know, as we were following Carl there, as that camera angle showed, the elevation change is absolutely mega around here. Very difficult to pick your point, as we say there. Almost keep the car in a straight line.
I think I was using some of the sponsorship boards as braking points. I think during the race.
Yeah, I think I was doing that. There's a lot of on the outside of the track. There's a few white kind of boards, if you like, or strips, as you can see on the outside there of turn 14, and that's what you'd use. Well, I was using them personally for braking as Carl dives in the pits. He's done with those medium tyres. Just 2 drivers left, not set a lap time. We have Boothie, who is on a lap now, and Red Car Rambo. We're going to stick on board with Boothie as he comes to finish his lap. As Red Car puts the lap on the board, a 19.3. A good opening lap from him. He'll be happy with that first one, just ahead of his teammate Simba.
2 McLarens posting pretty decent times.
Yeah, they've been strong this season. As Boothie pops it into 11th place. A little bit quieter out on track. The drivers gearing up for their second runs.
It's for the best, to be fair. I found like a really big problem with when the track gets busy, you can't find any clear space here, because with it being a pretty short track.
I think we've just lost Morgan there in the middle of in mid-sentence, so Morgan will be back with us very shortly, I'm sure. But following on from what we started to say, yeah, you're right there, Morgan. It is a very short track. It actually looks like a very long track, and it's a very technical circuit, but the lap time it actually gives you is very short, as we're seeing here in qualifying. 118s up to 120, 121. So there was a good spread in this field at the moment, but you're right, it is very short lap time as we've got red car going again. So another flying lap goes half a second quicker, 118.8. Pops him up into 4th position as it stands.
Right. So I should try again on my back.
Oh, he's back. There he is. Technical glitch?
I think the headset's on the fritz.
Oh dear. We're on board with Fanning now. Going past a driver who is off track at the moment. Not sure what that is. I think it's a Ferrari. Getting out of the way could be Connor or Gibb. It will be Gibb. Yeah, as Connor's in the pits. But now we're going to ride on board with Fanning, starting his second flying lap, currently in 10th on a 119.5 in that Red Bull. We're going to stick on board, see how he gets on.
Brogan Morris has posted his Aston Martin in 3rd with a 118.4.
Fantastic lap from Brogan. Yeah, he's had a bit of a topsy-turvy season so far, as Brogan. You know, he's shown a lot of promise end of last season as well, and at points of this season just hasn't quite come together yet for him, as Fanning's half a second quicker in the first sector, runs very wide in there. Hopefully that won't delete his lap time, and he can continue on his way. It looks like he's still going for it, so he may have got away with it. And now continues up the bank, down into turn 9, which is flat. Turn 10, blind apex, but that's usually your braking point. Into turn 11, goes very deep. Misjudged the braking. He's lost quite a lot of time. He's lost 4 tenths in that middle sector alone. Going to be pushing hard now as he gets a little bit of oversteer. Trying to get the power down, trying to eke as much out and gain that time back towards the end of the lap. Nice and neat through 14, down the hill in 15, takes a wider line than most. And then there we go, 119.1 does improve up to 7th.
Okay. Ty Clears just posted a 118.7 to get into 4th on mediums.
Wow, fantastic lap as Nightcast moves up into 2nd place. We saw a nice opening lap from him, and now he's up there into 2nd again on his second run. Still 4 minutes left. Plenty of time for these guys to pop a new set on as well again. As we're going to go on board with Connor. Currently down in 16th, but on an out lap.
Yeah, you definitely see everyone's starting to dive out the pits now to try and get the last runs in here.
It is, as Mann has retired from the session. That is coming out of turn 4. And for him, that's really unfortunate. He's down in 18th and won't be taking part anymore in this session. We're going back to ride with Connor. Gearing up. He's got a little bit of traffic ahead. I'm not sure if he's going to try to get past that, or he's going to use it as a little bit of slipstream to start his opening lap. Nope, it moves out of the way obviously on an in lap. There we are. Throwing it into turn 15. We are very planted to do that. A lot of confidence in the car. DRS wide open, and here we are starting his last flying lap. A lot of cars in the pit. He's got the best of the track at the moment. No traffic. Keeps it nice and neat through turn 1. Doesn't run too wide. Early braking into turn 3. Got to admit, the front end of that looks very planted, very pointy. He's 2 tenths up through the first sector. Doesn't run too wide. We've seen a few drivers get that wrong in the hairpins so far in Torre VIP, as the corner is now called. Comes into turn 8, Samson. Keeps that neat. That's very difficult and very key to keep that car pointing in the right direction. Not to get the slip through turn 9, flat out. Up the hill, takes a wide line into turn 10 and then 11. Kiss that apex really well. Goes very wide though. Hopefully that hasn't ruined his lap. But we will soon see.
Well, some lap times are coming in still. Tom Brown's just gone to 4th, 1:18.3, and BGR Echo up into 10th on a set of mediums.
Yeah, it's interesting now to see the difference in the strategies that we have. Yeah, Connor's bailed on that lap. He's unfortunately did get that invalidation. Yeah, mix of strategies now. As I touched on there, we've got a few drivers in the top 10 on the mediums. Of course, Alex has to use them. He's currently in provisional pole, being the Tier 2 driver. But it's interesting to see we've got T.Y. Claire doing that as well, and BGR on the mediums. So
yeah,
I think they've got the pace in it.
So I'm not quite sure what the mediums are actually supposed to do, but in the race we managed to get an easy 20 laps out of a set of mediums. So the one stop's definitely on here, whether you want to start on the softs or the mediums.
No, you're right. I think I was trying to do that in our Tier 2 race, and it started to work well, and unfortunately then I hit a bit of bad luck and went backwards, but it is potential to do that. We did say
definitely help, so
they do, yeah, very much so. But we'll see. Obviously, the possibility of the wet race as well, so that's going to throw everything into the mix. Just seen Tom will go very wide at turn 11 as well. That looks, hopefully that hadn't invalidated.
I know he's obviously got in for those top 2 spots.
He is, but he just went outside the white line there, and that may have invalidated his lap time. We'll see. Yeah, he dives in the pits and bails. So that's Tomo finished for this qualifying session. Currently in P3. Who have we got on track? We've got Red Car Rambo half a second up. Let's have a quick look. He was half a second. I think that was +2 there. 2 tenths down. We'll see how he gets on with this lap. Right on board with it. Currently 2 tenths down at the minute. And stays, unfortunately, yeah, 2 tenths down on that lap, so Red Car stays 7th as it stands. We've got Simba, his teammate, also 2 tenths down on his first sector time. Wonder if these tyres kind of hit a peak and think, right, that's the way that is it. Yeah.
Obviously, Simba's done 2 laps on the softs, which is brave in any case, obviously, for qualifying.
Oh, gets a big tank slapper there. Big kick of oversteer. Yeah, you're right. Brogan's on a lap now currently as well. Now he's bailed on his lap time, so he's currently 5th. Good qualifying session from Brogan. He'll be happy in the Aston. Gonna ride back on board with Simba now. He looks to have gained that time back in the middle sector.
Hopefully you can get a good final sector and then for the end of qualifying.
Once the line goes 2 tenths quicker, moves up to 6th place. Jumps his teammate and T.Y. Clay there. So that was a good lap from him, 2 tenths down in the first sector to pull that back and gain those 2 tenths at the end. So really happy with that. Is this Carl on a lap? He is, but he's 4 tenths down currently. His previous best, and Carl's bailed on that one. He's gone into the pits. And there we are, that's it, end of qualifying. It is. So, in pole position, we've got our Tier 2 reserve driver, Alex Edric, on those medium tyres on a 1:18.0. Nightcast, fantastic qualifying in second. Tomo lines up in third with Emiliano in fourth. Fantastic qualifying as well for Emiliano. Tom Brown in fifth, Brogan in sixth, and the first of the McLaren Simba in seventh. T.Y. Clare Reserve stepped in eighth, Redcar Rambo in ninth, and DAC Convertible rounds out the top 10. They will start on the tyres that they have qualified on. And then from 11th we have Fanning, BGR, Carl Edens in 13th, and we've got Boothie in 14th, Gibb and in 15th, the Manugio, Connor, Mann, Orange Jaffa Cake and Joyful Hell round out the grid. We saw quite a lot of track evolution there. A lot of drivers improving on the second runs, and then almost not as much in the third.
Yeah, this track's just a weird one. You can find time in some really strange places. Obviously, as Simba found out when he managed to pick up all his time in the last sector, so short shifting seems to help a lot here, but it's just honestly just such a strange track.
Yeah, you're very right there. We've got quite a few close people there on the grid. You know, we've got fourth, fifth, and sixth very, very close, within about a tenth of a second, including third, actually, Tomo. You know, and Alex getting that pole position by 3/100ths of a second. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do in the race for tyre strategies, especially those just outside the top 10, and see if these guys do chance it. Are they going to try a one-stop or a two-stop strategy, and is there going to be rain?
Well, I'm hoping for rain. Rain always makes for a fun race, so we'll just have to see whether it's right at the start or somewhere near the end to chuck in a bit of strategy calls.
Yeah, very much so, yeah.
Even on this loading screen it looks a bit grey, so who knows?
Yeah, definitely clouded over. That's going to, really spice up how they get the tyres warmed up as well. You know, those people starting on the mediums going to struggle with that. Even the hard tyres. Would you potentially start on the hards if you're outside the top 10?
Well, you'd be the man in the know if you did it in the practice and in the race, so...
Okay, fair point. I can't argue with that one. Yeah, I thought I would chance it. Yeah, we've got BGR. He started on the hard tyres, the only one in the field. Early pace was okay, and then I think the mediums tyre runners about 6, even 7 laps in, it kind of got to that as Giban and Manugio have come together. They're disqualified. They'll line up on the grid. That was a bit soon. That must have been going into turn 3. But yeah, it was difficult, I would to say the least, from that one. It was, the medium tyre runners just had so much more race pace than I could manage on the hards.
Same for the softs. I started on the mediums, but all the soft runners definitely got a much better getaway and a good few tenths of a second every lap, like right at the start of the race. So I definitely say that's the best tyre to start on.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with you on that one. You're right. I lost quite a few bits at the start. Just couldn't get away from the line. I think I must have lost 3 positions at the start, as T.Y. Clare and Simba also disqualified from the session. So trying to warm tyres, trying to warm the brakes hasn't worked. Not enough of a gap between these guys. So now they are disqualified and start the grid on their cold tyres. That's going to hamper them at start, especially Simba and especially T.Y. Clare there, in the top 10. He's on the medium tyres, had a great qualifying. We'll have to get him up there.
Yeah, it's a shame when you just get pinged to the start grid and you can't do anything apart from watch your tyre temperatures go down.
Yeah, but now, luckily, it was a bit later on the lap. Not going to be hampered as much as Gibb and Manugio. They really suffered. They were right at the start of the lap. But now at least we've got a few of the drivers coming round. I do believe we've got a bit of a gap going back. And it's Carl who backed up the rest of the grid. One of his tactics, he did this last season, if I remember rightly. He likes to back the grid up a little bit more. But here we are, all getting on the grid now, all lining up. Alex on the medium tyres start from pole position, surrounded and hunted by the soft tyre runners. This is going to be very interesting at the start to see how we get on with that. We're going to get rid of that, so try to keep going. Here we go, the lights are on, 5 lights. And away we go. We've got 3 abreast already into turn 1. Alex gets a great getaway. Nightcast challenges up the inside. Little bit of a tap. Pushes Alex very wide. Is he going to keep that position? Is Nightcast going to give it back? No, they've collided again. Going into turn 3 under braking. Nightcast takes the lead. Tomo 222 gets round the outside as Alex is struggling and scrambling for grip and to get the heat back into those tyres. Tom Brown challenging him, but now he's under pressure as well from Brogan. Dives up the inside. He's also having a go. Brogan at Alex makes that move up the inside. Brogan taking 3rd place on those soft tyres, really putting them to good use at the opening start of this lap. Alex has fallen away big time. Did get that tap early on. Emiliano's having a bit of trouble with his connection. Hopefully we'll get him back on soon. Tom Brown in 5th. Now we've got T.Y. Clare. And unfortunately, really poor start from Simba. We don't know if he had anything going, had got spun round or anything in the opening stages. Dak Convertible up into 6th. Good start from him. And then T.Y. Clare fanning another good start. And Redcar Rambo holding on his place in 9th. But up front, we've got Nightcast. He is now 9/10, a second already ahead of Tomo in the Mercedes. So this Alfa Romeo Nightcast had a fantastic qualifying. He's now trying to pull away in the next 2 laps to get out of that DRS zone. What an opening lap that is.
Yeah, it was great into the first couple of corners. Just looking at the position changes now to see who the big winners and losers are. So Emiliano down in 18th, lost 14 places on the opening lap.
And he's pitted as well. I think he's having a few connection issues. Joyful Hell also pitting on that opening lap. So maybe a little bit of wing damage for them.
But Connor H was the biggest winner. He got in 5 places on up to 12th on the opening lap.
Yeah, good to see. Good to see as Alex now, he's getting those medium tyres back up. He's now challenged and made his move into the hairpin on Brogan. Must have got a good run out of turn 4. And now he takes us a both one very wide. And now Brogan takes a dive on the inside. Makes that move stick. Both of them went very wide on the entrance there. Carrying just a bit too much space, but that Brogan had the superior grip and was able to make that move back on Alex. Again, soft against medium tyres.
First time penalty of the race, 3-second time penalty for Alex there.
Yeah, you can see how much he's pushing, but we did see that contact with Nightcast into turn 1. I'm going to jump on board with Nightcast and see there was no damage to that front wing, so got very lucky there. In terms of that, very easy to do that. Now we've got the DRS enabled this lap. That'll come into force on the next straight out of turn 4. We're just going to keep on board with Alex. Right actually goes very wide through turn 1. Keeps a tight line through turn 3 to try to straighten up turn 4 and get the run as Brogan's gone very wide. And already Alex up alongside and past even on the way into the braking zone, but Brogan's not giving this up. He's trying to hang it out around the outside, trying to use those soft tyres and the traction. He's got the traction and actually stays ahead of Alex. This is a fantastic little battle that's going on in these early stages.
Yeah, he's just showing how much...
Oh, and Brogan's lost, and then he's hit, and Alex has hit him. Oh, and damage on the wing for Alex. We do have ghosting on this league, but unfortunately Alex so close, just couldn't do anything about that. Was really the innocent bystander there. But what a battle that was as well. Brogan's going to be kicking himself. He's tumbling down the order. His tyres are going to be super hot as well. But early stages.
To say, he's showing how good the grip were on those soft tyres for the late braking and the great acceleration there. But such a shame on that hairpin.
It is. It's one where it's caught many drivers out. It's caught in Tier 1 and Tier 2 throughout the last week and caught it. Brogan out there. We're going to run on board with that convertible as Tom Brown weaving, trying to break the toe into turn 1. Wow, that was very close. All drivers go wide. Both these drivers are now a few penalties kicking in now.
Connor H, Boothie, Brogan.
Yeah, we do. So let's have a look at the penalties. Yeah, Boothie, Connor H. Yeah, Manugio as well with a 3-second penalty. It's Redcar Rambo. He's starting to pick up the place as well. He's now up in 5th, taking advantage of all the carnage. Fanning and T.Y. Clare having a heck of a battle with Carl Edens as well, following closely behind. A big train of these guys, led now by Redcar Rambo. he's going to seriously, he's got the soft tyres on. The rest of the medium tyre runners, so he's going to be looking to try to scamper away, trying to still put the use, but he books very early into there. That's given Fanning the impetus to get round the outside and makes that move. Stickwell, I've not seen one round there yet.
Yeah,
that's a new blessing. It really was. That takes some guts. It gets a little bit squirrely, does Fanning there. And now he's going to be a little bit vulnerable. Let's see how his exit is. Out of turn 14, gets a good clear run, but now we're going to be on board with Redcar. He's coming down through Galp, and he is going to be holding on tight. As is that Nike? Who's that? Yeah, we saw him there on the entrance to the pits. Has lost it out the last corner, and we've got a full safety car. There's a few drivers there. Gibb has already jumped into the pits, taking advantage of that. The safety car is going to let these guys through and pick up the leader. Of course, was already passed.
He's had an absolute nightmare of a season so far, Tomo 222.
He has. He's shown so much pace, and he debuted. He came into tier 2, didn't he, for Imola last race? Was running in second, and then just got a kick, and was just so unfortunate with his result in there as well. He showed a lot of promise, and it's just not worked for him this season.
No, obviously the worst moment was Bahrain, the season opener for this season. Lost on the last corner on the last lap. Nothing worse.
I know, as Fanning now has spun as well, even under the safety car, just putting a little bit too much down, and he's spun, dropping about 4 or 5 places there as well. Again, same corner, it's catching everybody out.
It is an evil hairpin, yeah.
It is turn 8, Samson. It is really hurting people. This is going to breathe a sigh of relief for Alex and Brogan. Obviously, they were up there in 3rd place themselves. And this is just going to give them a little bit of reprieve. As now we see Nykas, the leader. He's got 5-second penalty for speed in the pit lane. He's obviously not using the limiter. And so unfortunate. He's going to be kicking himself for that one. But he's going to take a chance. We're going to stick on board, see what tyres he's choosing now. Would he go probably quite long into the race? He's gone for the mediums.
I mean, definitely not going to get to end the race on a set of mediums, but they'll get you quite far.
Yeah, we were saying about 15, 20 laps on those. Could go medium to the end of the race now. That's dropped him right back down to 10th, but fresh tyres. He's going to be right behind BGR. Orange Jaffa Cake up there in 8th. That's great to see. His first outing.
Yeah, he's made a ton of places since the start. He's up 11 places.
Yeah, and Connor up, he's in 5th. He's up 12 places as well. So a lot of movers so far.
Obviously, BGR's gone for your favourite strategy. He's got the hards on. Seeing how far he can take them.
Yeah, the thing is with this, it's going to be how is he going to keep the heat in them. That's going to be tricky. I mean, it looks a lot brighter than it did at the start of the race. That's the positive on this. So, yeah. If that does heat up and you do get that the heat into those hard tyres, as long as he keeps position at the restart, Nykas we've just seen is very, very fast. And on those fresh mediums with DAC convertible as well. Keeps position, doesn't lose too much time. The strategy is still going to be very strong, I think, for him in this race.
Yeah, it's strategy, I think, played a big part in the other tiers. The one stop was obviously definitely the best strategy to go for, but obviously we had a few safety cars, so some people could have put the hard tyres on, possibly could have gotten to the end, but I reckon either medium soft or medium will definitely get people to the end now.
Yeah, they could do. Yeah, very true. We've got another lap with the safety car. We've got a couple of drivers just catching the back of the train, so this will probably be the last lap. Joyful Hell still to catch as well, and Emiliano unfortunately had those technical glitches. Looking at the standings so far, we've got in the championship, okay, we've only had 2 rounds, but we've got Carl. He is up in 4th, championship leader, currently by 5 points from Fanning in 6th. Redcar Rambo's a point further back, but he's up in 2nd place currently. So, taking that into consideration, DAC Convertible as well, he's currently out the points, but fresh set of mediums. Throws everything wide open currently. I know we earlier said it's only not even a third of the way through the race yet, but definitely throws things into and quite open.
Yeah, well, for people that have stayed out on like the softs, 6-lap-old softs compared to fresh mediums, I mean, obviously the softs are going to start losing their effectiveness there. So I think from this point, it's all going to be about how people can warm up the tyres and get them going from the restart.
Yeah, definitely. And we know the softs only take maybe half a lap, and not even that, to get the heat back into them, whereas the medium tyres take a little bit longer. But I'm sure the medium tyres, those runners are going to seriously be trying to get punchy, get themselves into that strong place and get those positions quickly while they can get the heat in the tyres and then run long. This is obviously going to help the strategies run that little bit longer in the race.
Yeah, I can guarantee that Nightcats and Dakar Vertical will 100% make some places up from the start with a fresh set of mediums, and Gearban probably with a fresh set of softs on.
Yeah, I didn't see that further down.
There from Nightcats.
Collision under safety car. Now this is where, of course, it's very dangerous now as Tom Brown takes over the lead. As the safety car's going in this lap, he's going to back the field up, pick his point when to go. We did see a bit of calamity in the Tier 1 race, but not so much so. Now, Tom Brown's gone, he's gone for it, he's past the safety car line there, and here we go. And he's really got...
massive gap there.
He really did, unsure when he was going to go, and he's left himself pretty vulnerable to T.Y. Claire. We're 4/10 back, but Tom Brown really got the jump on the full field there. Redcar Rumble left a little bit napping, but he's going to get the heat back in those softs, as we mentioned there. Brake discs glowing into turn 3. And away we start again. We've had Emiliano's taken the place from Simba, and Dakar Convertible BGR having that little tussle as well. Joyful Hell retired from the session. She's lost it out of turn 4. We're hopefully well away, and we won't need another safety car straight away again. And now Connor gets another 3-second time penalty for running wide.
That BGR Echo's lost a few places off the start. Obviously, he struggled to get those hard tyres back up to 10th.
Yeah, Nightcast gets a penalty as we just ride on board as Fanning makes a move into turn 11 on Carl. I must admit that was one of my favourite overtaking places. But now we've got a little bit going on here, and we've got Javan Shafakate going backwards a little bit there. We've got Dakar Convertible making their way through. Nightcast, you did mention, Morgan, those fresh medium tyres going to be easier to warm up, easier to get that grip in them, and we've just seen it.
Yeah, it's always good when you can just see the amount of grip you've got like that. Obviously, the softs would have seen it straight off the start, but those two will definitely be trying to cut the way through the field now to try and get the best performance out of those medium tyres.
Yeah, very much so. He's already closing on the back of Connor, who again on the back of Carl and Fanning. So that's what we like about the safety cars. It does bunch the field up, does throw someone else into the mix, as we've seen the two soft tyre runners. Redcar's had a little bit of a moment. He was well ahead, and now we've got Nightcats having the dive on Connor into the hairpin. Pushes Connor a little bit wide, but makes that move stick. What a great overtake manoeuvre that was. Very opportunistic. No DRS yet, of course. Another lap until they go, and Connor with another penalty runs wide. Needs to watch that and just be a little bit more. Yes, and he's gone on the inside, and he just taps and he's spun, and he's taken off the pattern. That must be front wing damage there. He's not retired, luckily, from that, but he has got front wing damage. That's going to need to pit at the end of this lap. It's not really an overtaking spot, that one. Carl would have been unsighted there, trying to take the racing line, I would think, through that. But Nightcast not going to be happy. He was the early leader and just not gone his way so far.
Yeah, it's unlucky that I don't think Carl would have seen him going up the hill there, because I definitely wouldn't have tried an overtake maneuver there.
No, to be fair, personally I would have done turn 10/11, probably sent one up the inside there, as we actually saw him take the outside line last lap round. So that's still unfortunate. He's had a lot of overspeed there, and he was up alongside, got the run down the hill. Nightcast is retired from the session.
Orange Jacket disqualified from the session as well.
Parked in a dangerous location, so I think he'd actually spun and couldn't get it going again. I did see, so could see him on the tracker, and unfortunately that's really upsetting for him. First time out, and he showed a lot of promise as well. But he will be back. We look forward to seeing him next time out, hopefully. Same with Nightcast as well. So, 16 runners left already, 10 laps in a third, just under a third of the race through, and we're still on board with Fanning in the Red Bull, trying to hunt down T.Y. Clare. The soft tyre runners, Redcar Rambo and Tom Brown, trying to scamper away in the distance, making the rest of those soft tyres work. 1.7 the gap from Redcar to T.Y. and then Tom Brown 2.6 ahead. I've got the hammer down in that clear air.
He did absolutely amazing off the restart, to be fair. Redcar Rambo was obviously caught napping a bit. 1.5 seconds gap was the gap before the safety car even got in.
Yeah, it was very true. And now we've got Alex. He's back up into 9th. The pole sitter, of course, now into 8th. As I mentioned that. Really pushing hard, trying to get those positions back. But he's on the soft tyres. He obviously pitted and went on to the soft, so he's got another pit stop still left to go in this race.
Alex is usually pretty good at keeping those tyres going, so we'll see how far he can push the softs.
Yeah, potential up to about 12, 13 laps, I do believe, on the soft tyres you can get out of them. Tom Brown a little bit wide there.
Yes, Simba's just made a place on BGR Echo.
As we're going to scroll down and have a look at some of these battles on board with Simba now. BGR with those hard tyres. He's probably not going to be panicking too much. He knows he can go at least probably another 10 laps on those hard tyres, especially if you're looking at doing the one-stop strategy. So, he knows everybody else is around is going to pit. The gaps aren't huge because of the safety car. Still looking strong, I would say.
Yeah, go another 10 laps, slap a set of softs on, easily get him to the end.
Yeah, very much so. We have a lot of pace towards the end. Takes a wider line than Simba there through turn 14 and through turn 15 as well. This is where the turbulent air actually does hurt you and can potentially hurt you, as Brogan sets the fastest lap of the race. He's currently in 10th, just ahead of these guys. Simba's going to have the DRS off Manuzio and then BGR as well following through. Now Da Convertible gets a time penalty. We're going to stick on board. Alex is right on the back of Emiliano. He's got the DRS going down the hill into the hairpin, makes the move under brakes, and takes that spot up into 7th place very clean.
Great overtake there.
As we're going on board, we've got T.Y. Clare. He's now right on the back of Fanning. Both of these guys has caught up with another 3-second time penalty and has lost the place to Brogan. Brogan, a lot fresh at medium tyres, but we're on the board with T.Y. Clare. The battle for third with Fanning, both on the same strategy. Fanning with that time penalty, which will be played out later in the race. Of course, still a third of the way through.
Do you know how much longer Tom Brown and Redcar Rambo are going to stay out to the front on those softs?
Yeah, as T.Y. Clare was pitted on the medium tyres, taking those 11 laps and decided to bail on them.
Maybe
so that's interesting.
Definitely could have got a good few more laps out of the mediums.
He has, as we've just having a look at Emiliano trying to make a move on Alex there. He had the DRS pulled up alongside and backed out early as Alex we saw him there go wide outside of turn 3. But yeah, that did well there not to get any damage and not to clip the back of Alex and spin either of them round and gain, and lose a front wing, I should say, rather than gain.
An interesting one that T.Y. Clare is stuck on a set of softs.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. Committing to the two-stop strategy with that.
Maybe he's hoping for a late safety car or something to come back in and stick another set of mediums or hards on to get to the end.
Yeah, very true. We also did hear, obviously, the possibility of rain later in this race. So, do they know something we don't? And thinking, okay,
popped up and done some secret whispering to say there's some rain on the way.
Yeah, 50. To be honest, 15 minutes for rain could be a genius stroke to do that. Soft tyres, 13, 14 laps is about 15 minutes with the lap times that the guys are doing. It's very possible. Very possible that by the time of his second stop, if there is rain that comes, it could really throw the cat amongst the pigeons and really bring him back into fighting there. Brogan now gets a 3-second time penalty. He's up in this battle behind Emiliano and Alex as well. These guys together all catching up with Dak Convertible, who is on the back of Carl Edens. He hasn't pitted yet. Same with Fanning and the two guys up front, Tom Brown, Redcar Rambo, on those soft tyres. Made them last. I mean, the safety car will have helped, at least extend a good lap or two.
Yeah, the safety car always helps.
Big slide.
Big slide on the way out.
That's just allowed.
Alex comes flying past the both of them.
It does. Yeah, Carl jumps him, and then Alex as well makes advantage of those. Having some great clean battles here as well. Obviously, we saw one early on, which was very unfortunate. But now we've got a lot of clean battles as we're on board with Carl.
Flag in sector 1.
Yeah, not sure who that's for. That might be Manugio. It is. We've got Tom Brown just coming over the line, and Redcar as well. And now we've got Carl's going really to the inside to defend that. We've got
3 abreast of them down the main straight.
I'm trying to work out which one we're following. It is 3 abreast, 2 DRSs with Emiliano, Alex and Dak Convertible. All got a few of them go wide into turn 1, carrying far too much pace. But now a big change of position there. Carl was almost a sitting duck, no DRS. The other driver's got a bit of a toe as well, and all the DRS. They'll have used a lot of hers down that straight and made that move. Alex back up into 4th place. Paul Sitter, of course, and had that issue when he went round when battling with Brogan early on. But now finds himself back into 4th. Has a few penalties to his name, but also has another pit stop left as well. Those soft tyres now 10 laps old as well. He'll be starting to feel those slip away a little bit. I think it was quite important for him to take that, and he's already made a gap on Emiliano, scampering away as Dak Convertible's looking around the outside. Can't make the move there around the outside, but now he's going to follow him through into turn 13. Has a little sniff. Not room there. He's going to follow him.
Taking a really tight line through that corner there.
Yeah, I mean, I tried that line, and it seemed to work, but a few drivers do take kind of middle of the road, don't they? I think that's kind of the favoured line through turn 13 there. Of course, with it a little bit wide from there, as Fanning's pitted on the mediums, but we've got Emiliano. He has got the DRS from under pressure, from Dak Convertible. DRS wide open. Brogan as well, a little bit too far back, but there we go. Dak Convertible makes the move on Emiliano. Under DRS as Brogan sniffing as well, trying to sneak away past. He's going to have a move into turn 4, very opportunistic. Little bit of contact, pushes Emiliano wide. Both have got DRS off the back of Dak Convertible in each other. Now it's going to be a battle under the brakes. Into that, it's Brogan himself. And he's didn't go around, luckily for him. But so unfortunate to catch Dak Convertible. That would have really caught Dak Convertible unawares and forced him wide. But that was definitely a battle under the brakes as Dak Convertible runs really wide, kisses the gravel, this allowing Emiliano and Brogan to come back at him right under there. As now we've got Emiliano going to hit the inside line into turn 11, doesn't do it this time, and both outbrake themselves, run very, very wide. Again, Brogan sniffing right on the back of the rear wing. Is he going to have a try into 13? He's not, he's going to sit there. And now we're going to have this little bit of patience, and it's this little battle we've got coming up to the DRS zone. We're going to ride on board with Brogan. He is the last of these 3 runners as we come down through turn 15. We're right on board, all trying to catch the slipstream of each other. Brogan trying to stick out of it, but now we're going to have the DRS wide open. As under use, Emiliano's already pulled out and made the move on Dak Convertible early dot. Is Brogan going to have it? He's too far back this time. Things better of it and is a bit more patient. Runs a slight wide. Dak Convertible wide as well. Emiliano picks up a penalty.
You're going to catch your breath now?
I'm going to try to. That's why I had to stop. Redcar Rambo's pitted now. He's put on a fresh set of soft tyres. Tom Brown's on the hards. Yeah. So, it's complete difference in strategy. We've got them battling again. Emiliano and Dak Convertible. A little bit of contact as well. Hopefully no damage for either driver. But I actually think as Brogan's making the move up the inside into Samson, and a little bit of collision, but pushes Dak Convertible wide. Brogan makes that place. No damage there, but has Emiliano, I think I saw some damage. Nope, they've all got away with it. Again, all these drivers still got left to pit. Emiliano with the last of his soft tyres, and Brogan and Dak Convertible equally on medium tyres. I really need to catch a break. This is fantastic driving, still allowing Carl to keep up the back, and it's allowed Simba in 6th to join the back of this trio. It's just fantastic as Emiliano's bailed. Yeah, he's bailed on the softs, so that's allowed Brogan to escape. All of them get the DRS, so that's probably saved Brogan as well this time round from being under pressure. Whoa, very wide.
Up the road now.
He is. He's 3.2 seconds ahead of these guys on his 13 lap all soft, so he might be feeling those, but going to keep an eye on that gap as well. If Brogan feels like he's not necessarily under pressure from a dive or anything from Dak Convertible and Carl, be interesting to see what happens there and see how that gap, if it drops. As well as we've got a Ferrari facing the other way. I think that might be Gibb. It wasn't. It was Connor who went round. He's got the hard tyres on, just come out the pits. Obviously, it takes a little bit of time for them to warm up. He was having a good early stages. He can go take those easily to the end now.
Yeah, just gotta keep the temps on the go after a spin and then just keep plowing along. The hard to definitely get into the end. Emiliano's gone for mediums to get him to the end.
Yeah, it's 15 laps or so on those can be done. As we're seeing, we've got Carl Edwards has taken his 17 laps so far, so it can easily be done. Mann and Boothie as well, 17 laps. As now we've got a few of those drivers in the pits. Alex is gone, and Dak Convertible both pitting, so it's going to be interesting to see what strategies they go on.
So going Aston Martin 1-2 for now.
We do. Both still to pit. Carl with those mediums have done 18 laps. This is quite impressive to take those 18 laps, I must admit. I wouldn't have dared doing that. Carl pushing them, looking after them really well.
Yeah, it's impressive. Definitely pit within the next few laps, slap a set of softs on. He'll have some great pace towards the end.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. And then unfortunately we've kind of lost our telemetry of the gaps. There was a few about a second apart, but we're going to look at Redcar Rambo and T.Y. Claire. They were obviously battling before the pit stops. Redcar's come out ahead. Alex has come out ahead of Rambo as well by a few seconds actually. So they were of course 1 and 2 difference in strategy. Redcar trying to take those soft tyres 15 laps or so towards the end. Low fuel again very easily can be done, and Alex going for the safe strategy and taking the mediums to the end. But I think he had two soft. He used mediums, of course. He had to qualify mediums, didn't he?
Yeah, so we've got a good few softs to pick from if you wanted them.
He does. Simba, we're riding on board with in third, has the DRS on Carl, but a little bit too far back this time round. We're going to have a look at the penalties at the moment. So Brogan's got 12 seconds. Carl, nothing yet at the moment. Simba's got 3. BGR's got 8. There was that collision under the safety car with Mann, I do believe. And there are a few drivers further down. Looking at this, Alex has got 6 seconds. If Redcar keeps up, he's got obviously the soft tyres on, Redcar. Yeah. Drivers ahead have still got, well, apart from Tom Brown, all the drivers are left to pit. We've got Fanning there as well, and Alex. Redcar's looking in a really strong position, so is Tom Brown, of course.
Yeah, it's going to be a good grid shuffle up soon when everybody dives into the pits finally.
Yeah, now T.Y. Claire gets 3-second time penalty, so that spices things up. Emiliano's right on the back of him with that convertible as well. That battle resuming, but now in at 10th and 11th, both on the medium tyres. But we're keeping on board with these up front, these guys. So Carl going round again to start. This is Brogan's gone. Yeah, Brogan's decided he's had enough of the mediums. So I wonder if Carl, obviously Aston Martin's running line astern, I wonder if Carl was even thinking of getting rid of those even older medium tyres. And Brogan obviously took the impetus and dived in first.
It's possible. It's definitely going to do a double stack in this game.
Yeah, he doesn't like it, does it?
No.
Well, where's Brogan going to feed out? He's behind Redcar Rambo. He was a little bit further behind on track, but he's come back into the battle that he left early on with Emiliano. T.Y. Claire's involved in that as well, as he gets through on Emiliano. That's a great little bit of movement from Emiliano, defending around the outside of turn 4, but now T.Y. Claire's got the DRS and outbreaks him into the hairpin. Keeps it nice and neat, leaves plenty of room on the outside, but Emiliano's coming back at him round the outside into turn. I lost track of where we are on the maps. Turn 7 and into Samson in turn 8. Side by side all the way through. Nice and clean from both of these. But those soft tyres using that superior grip. They are 7 laps old. However, still got plenty of life left in them. And it makes that move stick. And that's just allowed red car just to scamper away a little bit. 3.5 seconds up the road. But now DAC convertible. And I think Brogan's had a spin on those fresh softs as he came out the pits, because he was right in the back of this group and has dropped to 9.5 seconds further back.
Bit further up the road, Alex is going for a move on Fanning, using the DRS down the straight.
Yeah, we're riding on board with that side by side. Makes a move into turn 1 and then plants it on the apex of turn 2. Doesn't allow Fanning to get back at him, as runs very wide again through turn 3. So, the question is, we've got BGR on 21 lap old hard tyres. He's in 3rd place, needs to pit. Simba on 16 lap old soft tyres is still goes a little bit wide there, but runs 2 seconds further back from Carl on 21 lap old mediums. Carl must be feeling that, but he's keeping the gap well with Simba.
Yeah, Carl's driving a pretty much perfect drive at the minute on those mediums. 21 laps old, and he doesn't really seem to be putting a foot wrong, especially since he's still got no penalties.
Yeah, again, like we mentioned earlier, red car's the same. Tom Brown, this is going to really play dividends into the end of the race. And we've got a few drivers with quite a few penalties. We're going to have a quick look at those again. Simba with 3, BGR with 8. And there we are. Simba decides to pit before Carl, so maybe trying the undercut. And now he's going to slap on the soft tyres. BGR continues on his way on those hards. Still feeling good with those. Of course, extended those a little bit throughout the safety car period.
Yeah, it's interesting that Carl's still going. 22 laps now on those mediums. Not quite sure how much further he can take them, but it's definitely an impressive drive.
Yeah, very much so. Pitted quite early, didn't he? He's had, So, no, he hasn't pitted, sorry. He's still going, he hasn't pitted yet. Him and BG are the only 2 left to pit. As Alex has made a move on Tom Brown for 3rd and 4th place.
A good little he wants his lead back.
He does. He's pushing, both of these guys pushing each other very, very hard. But again, with penalties taken in, Tom Brown keeps himself within 6 seconds of Alex. He's going to get that place inherited back as well. He doesn't want to keep losing. He doesn't want to lose too much time, I should say, because obviously we've got Fanning in the Red Bull hunting him down as well. Difference in tyres, Fanning with those soft tyres, the superior grip he's going to have from Tom on those hard tyres. They will be in place now, those hards, but still don't give you the full amount of grip that you want. They are just generally, doesn't give you the traction.
For me, how late do BGR and Carl leave it to put the softs on to get the full effect of getting all your time back at the end? Because there's 9 laps to go, they've got to go soon.
You're right, as Tom Brown again under DRS makes the move back. Defends from Fanning, and you're right, yeah, how long do you keep these going? Because, Red Rambo now gets a penalty. He was one of the only 3 left who hadn't got a time penalty. But you're right, yeah. What do you make? Now, is there going to be the rain that was potentially promised? Now, it has got darker over the last course of the last few laps. So, is that the reason they're staying out?
It's a good theory.
Knowing that, okay, if everyone bunches up behind him, if he's not so quick, the grip's going away. Suddenly starts raining, everybody's going to dive in for the medium tyres, because we know how slippy this track is in general. Then they're all going to have to pit. We're going to go on board with Carl, and he stays out another lap.
definitely seems like
BGR's gone.
We don't.
Yeah, BGR's decided, nope, that's it. He's going to take a chance, presumably on the soft tyres. But that's fantastic, though, getting 23 laps out of those hards. So, we know Alex is absolutely flying on those medium tyres. The amount of grip he's got from Alex. Tom's following him on the hards, with Fanning in close proximity. There they are. As we ride on board, jumped turn 3 as Fanning makes a move into turn 3.
Oh, can you see it, Mark? It's raining.
Is it raining already? Yeah, BGR, intermediate tyres. There we are. He's taken that. He's obviously seen it. Jumps straight into the pits. We're going to ride on board with Fanning. And yes, we can see it on the screen there. The rain is coming down. Well, this is throwing a Cattleman's vision. He's struggling for grip already, Fanning. So, where's Carl? That's what we're riding on board with Carl. He's coming through towards turn 13. And he's slipping through, runs very wide in turn 13. No front end grip there, which not only has he got 24 lap old medium tyres, it's now raining, it's now slippy.
Yeah, this final corner will definitely be an absolute killer for anybody that wants to go flat out while it's raining.
Yeah, it'll take some guts, and there we are, Carl bailing. Is Alex going to follow suit? He's not. He's going to go an extra lap. Feels like there is enough grip in those mediums to keep him going. What about Fanning and Tom Brown? They're still going as well. Redcar Rambos going as well. So, here we are. Different choice. Some drivers thinking, okay, we've got another lap on this, as we've got Emiliano Da Convertible having a little tussle into turn 1. Not close enough for Da Convertible. A bit too far back this time round. But now we'll look and see how soon do these guys go. Is there enough grip? Is it wet enough?
Well, we had this at few races now at Azerbaijan last season. Everybody went round for the extra lap and then it went absolutely torrential. We had it at Imola, obviously a couple of races ago.
Yeah, I think we got quite lucky with that one. We had a safety car just as it started raining, and everyone dived into the pits. Behind safety car there. We've got a few drivers have pitted. Carl, of course, and BGR. T.Y. Claire has also pitted for those intermediate tyres. He decided now straight away is the time. So we're going to see if anyone else is doing it. So we've got...
Maybe Carl's struggling now because he's got his first time penalty.
Yeah, he has. Running really well. But now we've got Alex going through the last corner. Stays out again. Not raining hard enough for these top few drivers to decide that now is the time to jump in.
With Carl, and he's spun. He's definitely got no grip at all on those intermediates.
Yeah, T.Y. Claire and BGR not really making inroads either into them. So is it a lap or two too soon? Is it going to come down harder? We'll have to wait and see. An exciting 6 laps of this Grand Prix in Portugal. We've had some fantastic racing so far, and we're keeping on board with Tom Brown on those hard tyres. You know, the softs for Fanning going to go away a little bit as they both outbreak themselves a little bit there. Tom Brown gets a penalty for running wide. But we've got a little battle further down. Redcar Rambo just a second, 1.1 ahead of Da Convertible with Emiliano. They've been battling most of the race and all evening. As now Carl's pitted again. Did he get front wing damage? Did you see, Morgan?
No, he's spanning the grass on the long left-hander.
Yeah, he's pitted for soft tyres. Decided inters aren't the way to go. It's not going to rain any more than what it is currently.
It's definitely a good line for a commentator's curse. That's when the rain starts.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we've had enough of that this season already. We're only 3 seasons in. Just watching the gaps further down. 3.7 further back to Redcar. He is a second ahead of Da Convertible and a 0.9 to Emiliano. All of them outside of the DRS zone at the point of as Emiliano goes wide again in turn 1. Simba catching the back of these guys as well. You know, 5 laps to go. They are going to try and push these, I'm sure, the soft tyres towards the end. But Tom Brown's probably going to be in a decent position. He's going to have the heat into those hard tyres now. You know, they've got plenty of life in them.
So depends, can they keep the heat in them while it's obviously this level of raining?
Yeah, you're right there, and he runs a little bit wide there. He's under threat of getting a penalty and runs wide yet again, the following corner. But you're right, yeah, it's you start to see that range dropping down as we ride on board with him now, and it's light. But is it psychological? You see it coming down. Do you back off, brake a little bit earlier?
Well, I see BGR Echo's giving up on his inters. He's gone for a set of softs.
Yeah, he has as well. Only T.Y. Clare is on the intermediate tyres, but he's now lost that place again to Carl, so Carl's now flying again on those fresh soft tyres.
Boothie's fitted in for a set of inters. Obviously, he's not happy with the grip level.
No, he's not. He's deciding. Who else has gone into the pits? Redcar's gone into the pits as well. 5 laps now. He was running a really strong position. Yes, Simba as well. So, yeah, but there might be enough gap. We're just going to keep an eye on this one. So there's Simba now. Is he going to get out in time? He is. And just because the pit crew wasn't ready, a little bit of a delay there. So Redcar's gone on the intermediates. He thinks now is the time with 4 laps left of this Portuguese Grand Prix. Tier 3 from MRC. And we've got it all now. We've got a couple of people staying up.
Fighting his car at the front into the infamous turn 8.
Yeah, and he's now got 8.5 seconds on Fanning, as Fanning has gone a little bit wide there. Tom Brown's obviously had a moment. He was right in the back, and now he's 3.5 seconds further back. Dak Convertible right behind. Red Car Rambo comes out in 5th, with Connor right behind him. But it's definitely got darker. That rain is seriously coming down as Connor makes a move into the hairpin, runs very deep. That's going to allow Red Car straight back on the inside. It's not. He's managed to keep the place ahead.
With 26 seconds behind now, it's definitely allowed the Dak Convertible to get some pit stops time.
It has, and he's making the move now, going into the last corner side by side with Tom Brown. Makes that move. Those mediums still got plenty of good ones. Very wide, and they both dive into the pits. Both of them.
Second choice there.
Oh, wow, wasn't it? Just did really well. There's Alex, 10-second penalty for corner cutting. What's he done there? He's had a big off, looks like into turn 3. And that's now allowing us Fanning as well into turn 3 as having a big spin. So he's got the same penalty. Sorry, it's not, turn 3. So he's losing the rear there. It does give you a big penalty for that. So now, Dak Convertible, Tom Brown, those intermediate tyres, Red Car Rambo as well as he's coming down the pit straight. This is going to really throw everything up in the air. Well, honestly, I've got no idea who could win this. We've got 3 laps left, and this is anybody.
Yeah, it's like the end of the Russian GP, this. Everyone's just waiting to see who wants to dive into the pits.
Exactly, yeah. And I think the people who are hurt most, unfortunately, is BGR and Carl, because they had the intermediates on, didn't get the benefit from them early on. And now, we've got them. They've had to pit to softs, and we'll probably have to pit again unless they decide to chance it. Same with Alex. Does he use that 10 seconds that he's got? And then Fanning with the the extra 16 over that Convertible. Yes, they've got the 10-second penalties, but
Alex is
do they chance it?
In the pits.
Yeah, he's gone. We'll see if Fanning follows suit. But we're going to stick on board with Red Car Rambo. We'll keep our eyes in the top left.
Fanning's still going round.
Yeah, he is.
Just chanting his luck on those softs.
And it's visibly, you can see the track now. The racing line's gone. It is decidedly wet. It is. This is definitely intermediate tyres now. I think he's trying to keep that gap with Dak Convertible. There's Dak Convertible at the moment. He hasn't. He's okay. He's got 37 seconds back to Dak Convertible. It was very wide outside of the last corner. Okay, if he doesn't get a penalty for that. But if he's going to use that time, I think Fanning...
It's not going to help him because Dak Convertible is absolutely tearing chunks out of him now.
Yeah, I wonder if it was a timing glitch because there was 30 seconds difference between him and Alex, and now I think maybe Alex has come out the pits and that's taken, obviously now, that difference, but he's 12 seconds behind. If Fanning keeps on this, he's still on for the victory. Let's have a quick look. Obviously, with the penalties, he has 6, which is the same as Dak Convertible. The 10 seconds that he got for the corner cut when he was, unfortunately, sideways. And... it still would give him the victory here. He just needs to keep that gap over Dak Convertible. He'll see a difference to us. So if we look at it from the leader, if he keeps it over, 16, He just needs to keep that above 10 seconds with only 2 laps left.
He's struggling though. He lost a second just in that last sector to Alex.
Yeah, but he's chancing it. He's going for it, so...
It's brave. It's a brave move. He's going for the whole Lando Norris.
He is. He's keeping it going as we're going around. But Tom Brown gets the fastest lap of the race. Red Car Rambo only a second back. 1.3 at the moment. So this is the closest battle we've got on track, as well as keeping... I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to keep that onto the leader in terms of the times. We know how close Red Car is. This is the closest battle on track, as I mentioned. But we're going to keep the gap from Dak Convertible, of course. And there's a big yellow flag. There's a few drivers round. As Connor retired from the session. So unfortunately, he was having a really good race. He started way back and was running quite well in 10th place. And that's coming out of turn 11 into turn 12. He's lost it down the hill. Now, so will this need... Oh, Manugio for multiple penalties, running wide too much, unfortunately, for Manugio.
Seems like a fan up front struggling to get past the ghost of Boothie.
Yeah, need to make awareness that you are a lap driver. No matter if you're ghosted, wait for the leaders. It is off-putting. Yes, you are a ghost, but it is very off-putting. And he will lose time, but he seems to be doing okay. You know, he's still got that gap, 19 seconds to Alex. It's Dak Convertibles. Yeah, because that gap with Dak Convertible hasn't changed a great deal. And yet, we've got Dak Convertible 22 seconds back, but now Alex, only there it is. It's too wet. DRS is gone. It's been disabled.
Fanning's going round for his last lap.
This could be genius. This could be absolutely fantastic control from Fanning. But we're sticking on board again. Red Car Rambo lost a little bit of time, 1.4 seconds back from Tom Brown. But we're going to go on board now.
Carl's done well to get it back into the points. He's sat in 8th on those softs.
He is. You're right. He's got T.Y. Claire all over the back of him, though. I'm going to have a quick look at that. See how close as Carl goes very wide into the hairpin as we look onto that. That's allowed T.Y. Claire into 8th on those mediums. Carl on the soft tyres is keeping them out, just needs to bring that home. But now we're going to look with Fanning. He has got a couple of corners left as he makes a big moment and takes out one of the barriers. But big moment there into turn 10. Managed to keep it. He is really sliding. He's struggling now. He's lost a lot of time to Alex and Dak Convertible. All he needs to keep within Dak Convertible is those next 7.5 seconds. That gap is coming down all the time. The rain's coming down all the time. Grip going further and further away from him. He's tiptoeing around turn 14. He's only got 5-6 seconds that he needs to keep the victory. Don't forget the 10-second penalty he's going to have that he suffered with a spin early on, but he is there. He is going to cross the line and take the victory on track, and I dare say he'll keep it as well. Alex, we will have that penalty coming, but he will cross the line in second place. Dak Convertible runs very wide outside of the last turn. He takes third and inherits second from Alex. Tom Brown in the Alpine, fantastic race from him. He's been involved in all sorts of battles. Takes it from Alex. Red Car Rambo takes the podium position from penalties. What a fantastic result from Red Car Rambo. We're on board with Simba in the other McLaren. Where's he going to finish? He will finish in 6th. Brogan runs very wide out of turn 14. He's had a very topsy-turvy race, had a really good qualifying, had that contact with Alex early on, and has been battling through with Dak Convertible all race, and finishes in the points in 7th. T.Y. Claire will cross the line in 8th. Brogan gets a 5-second penalty for an unserved penalty. We'll have to have a look at that one after the race. I'm sure the stewards will investigate. And now we've got Carl.
Those softs.
Yeah, tried a different strategy. Tried to go on the inters early. Unfortunately burnt up, and then went back on the softs just as the rain came down. As now we've got BGR and Boothie fighting over the last point scoring position, and Boothie's got him coming out of turn 14 in turn 15, goes very, very wide. But didn't get a penalty for that just yet. But then Boothie crossed the line in 10th. BGR actually gets it on penalties though. But what an exciting end to the race we had there. Absolute carnage. Not from the drivers, I might add, but from the weather that it provided. What a race!
Yeah, got to say, absolutely amazing drive from Fanning out at the end of those softs. A lot braver man than me, because I wouldn't have dared to take those softs to the end in that rain.
Concur, definitely, totally 100% agree. Fantastic drive from Fanning. Fully deserved that drive that Dave brought there from the game, but, you take that one stop and keep those softs on and get to the end. Just incredible. But there we are. We have the top drivers. Fanning takes the win, starts from 11th. Dak Convertible in second. Red Carambo, very impressive performance from him. He takes third. Tom Brown in fourth. Alex in third. Our pole sitter, of course, had that issue early on, but showed fantastic pace in the dry. Simba, the other McLaren, in sixth. T.Y. Clare in seventh. Brogan in eighth. Carl Edens and BGR round out the top 10. Well, T3 doesn't disappoint. Doesn't disappoint.
The weather.
No, it certainly doesn't. I think we're going to have to call Tier 3 the wet tier. Because that's what they get, their fair share of the rain, don't they?
And to be fair, we've all had a bit of a weird weather one for Portugal. We had the wet qualifying with dry race, and they got the wet race, so it's definitely been a good mix-up here.
As it does keep us all on our toes, and definitely keeps the drivers on the toes as well, yeah. But that was fantastic.
Keeps the commentary fun, though.
Keeps us guessing. 2 laps to the end, didn't know what was going to happen, and fair play, congratulations to Fanning, really did fantastic bit of driving there to keep the soft tyres working.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, just absolutely phenomenal drive to keep those softs. Just feel really bad for people like for Carl that went for the inters a bit too early and it just didn't work out for them. Yeah,
very much so. But there we have it. That's our week from Portugal done. Drivers are going to go and dry off, cool down, and I'm sure we will see them next week as we head to sunny Spain, hopefully. And a track that we all actually know. You know, we've done our new tracks now, that apart from Jeddah, which is coming out later on in the season. But we'll be there for Spain, Tier 1 and Tier 2 on Monday, and then Tier 3 next Wednesday. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been a fantastic, fantastic race. Kept us all guessing, kept us on the edge of our seats, and we will be back next week for Spain, for Tier 1, Tier 2, and then Tier 3 next Wednesday. So from us in the commentary box, thank you very much for watching. Enjoy your evening and good night.